My friends, I come before you today with a message that has been burning in my spirit for months. A revelation so profound and troubling that I have waited, prayed, and sought confirmation before bringing it forth. But the time for silence has passed. What I am about to share concerns not just our nation, but the appointed times in which we live. Throughout history, the Almighty has established and removed kings, presidents, and rulers according to his divine purposes. No leader rises to power outside his sovereign knowledge. Some are placed in authority as a blessing, others as a judgment, but all serve within the boundaries of heaven's timetable. What I am about to reveal came to me first in the deep watches of the night. That haunting time between midnight and dawn, when the veil between the spiritual and natural realms grows thin. I was awakened suddenly, my heart pounding with an awareness of a presence in the room. Though I saw nothing with my physical eyes, my spirit perceived a messenger, and with that presence came a clear and unmistakable vision. I saw a seat of power, not just any seat, but one of the most consequential in our modern world. And I saw the man who occupies it now. I will not speak his name, for this message transcends any individual personality or political affiliation. This concerns the patterns of heaven that have been established since ancient times, patterns that continue to unfold in our day with mathematical precision. In this vision, I watched as an unseen hand moved over this leader, and suddenly, the mantle of authority was lifted from his shoulders. There was no violence, no upheaval as we might expect in human terms. It was silent, swift, and absolute. In an instant, what had seemed unshakable was removed. What had appeared permanent was revealed as temporary. The timing of this removal aligns with ancient markers, the convergence of cycles that have tracked heaven's movements throughout human history. We are in a sabbatical year within a larger Jubilee cycle. These are not arbitrary designations, but divine time signatures that have foretold every major shift in national and global leadership throughout recorded history. As I sought confirmation for this troubling vision, it came in sevenfold witness, through dreams, through coincidences too mathematically precise to be random, through the unexpected words of strangers who could not possibly know what had been revealed to me. The pattern was unmistakable, the message consistent. A removal is coming that will shock the nation and reverberate throughout the world. Let me be clear about what this means and what it does not mean. This is not a call for any human action against authority. We are commanded to honor those in positions of leadership, to pray for them regardless of whether we agree with their policies. This revelation is not an invitation to rebellion, but a prophetic insight into what heaven has already decreed. The removal I witnessed will not come through conventional means. It will not be primarily through electoral processes or legal challenges, though these human systems may play their part. What I saw was divine intervention, the direct hand of the Almighty lifting what he had previously allowed to be established. Why would such a removal come? Throughout history, leaders who have been given opportunity to govern with justice and righteousness, but who have instead chosen pride, deception, and self-aggrandizement, eventually cross a threshold in heaven's economy. There comes a point where what was permitted is no longer tolerated, where divine patience gives way to divine action. The leader I saw being removed had been granted unusual opportunity. Chance after chance to turn from paths of division and self-interest toward healing and true service. Warning after warning had been issued, not just through voices like mine, but through circumstances, through mounting crises that should have prompted reflection and course correction. But the warnings went unheeded, the opportunities squandered. More troubling than the removal itself was what I saw in its aftermath. The nation, so deeply divided already, will experience initial shock, followed by either profound awakening or deeper entrenchment, depending on each person's heart posture. Some will recognize the hand of heaven in what transpires and humble themselves. Others will rage against what they cannot understand or control. This removal will trigger a period of uncertainty unlike anything our generation has experienced. Systems long taken for granted will reveal their fragility. Alliances will shift. Hidden agendas will suddenly become visible. What has operated in darkness will be thrust into light. But here is where the message turns from warning to hope. This removal, though disruptive and unsettling, serves a redemptive purpose. It creates space for something new to emerge, not just a different leader, but a different kind of leadership. Not just a political change, but a spiritual awakening that transcends politics altogether. In the same vision where I witnessed the removal, I saw what followed. People awakening as if from a long slumber, recognizing how they had placed their trust in human systems and personalities rather than in eternal principles. I saw a hunger for truth replacing comfortable deception. I saw genuine unity emerging, not the false unity that demands conformity, but authentic connection across previous dividing lines. This coming awakening will not be limited to any political group, religious denomination, or social category. It will touch those who have maintained humble and teachable hearts, regardless of their external affiliations. It will bypass the proud and self-satisfied, regardless of how spiritual they appear. The removal I witnessed serves as a catalyst, but the awakening that follows depends on how we respond. If we merely transfer our misplaced hope from one human leader to another, we will miss the divine opportunity this moment presents. If we respond with violence or vengeance, we will abort the birth of something precious. If we retreat into fear or cynicism, we will forfeit our role in what heaven intends to establish. How then should we prepare for what is coming? First, by examining our own hearts. Where have we placed our ultimate trust? In a political party? In economic systems? In human authority figures? These foundations will not withstand what is coming. Only those anchored in unchanging truth will remain stable through the shaking ahead. Second, we must prepare by building genuine community. Connections not based on shared political views or social status, but on mutual commitment to truth and authentic care for one another. The isolation that has characterized modern life leaves us vulnerable to manipulation and fear. The connected will survive what the isolated cannot endure. Third, we must cultivate spiritual discernment. In the aftermath of this removal, competing voices will offer contradictory interpretations of what has occurred. Without the ability to distinguish truth from deception, many will be misled. Discernment comes not through intellectual analysis alone, but through purified hearts that recognize the authentic voice of the Spirit. Fourth, we must store up practical wisdom and resources, not out of fear, but prudence. The disruption that follows this removal will affect supply chains, financial systems, and basic services. Those who have prepared will be able to help others rather than becoming burdens themselves. Finally, and most importantly, we must position ourselves as instruments of reconciliation. The removal I witnessed will intensify divisions that already exist. Some will respond with rage, others with vindication. Neither response advances heaven's purposes. True healers will be needed. Those who can speak truth without condemning, who can offer hope without false promises, who can build bridges across chasms of misunderstanding. The timing of this removal aligns with celestial signs that have historically marked divine transitions. The convergence of blood moons, solar eclipses, and planetary alignments in this specific season is not coincidental but confirmatory. Heaven is signaling through multiple channels that we have entered a period of accelerated change and spiritual recalibration. Let me be clear. This message is not given to create fear but to foster preparation. Throughout history, those who heeded prophetic warnings navigated safely through upheavals that devastated the unprepared. Noah built an ark before rain fell from the sky. Joseph stored up grain before famine struck. The wise have always recognized heaven's signals and responded accordingly. The removal I witnessed is certain. The exact timing remains in the hands of the Almighty, though all indications suggest it is imminent. What remains undetermined is how we will respond. Whether this divine intervention will lead to awakening or deeper darkness depends largely on the choices of those who hear and understand the times. My friends, we stand at a hinge point in history. The removal of this leader marks not an endpoint but a beginning, the first domino in a series of changes that will ultimately reveal who and what we truly worship. Systems and leaders we have trusted will be shaken until only the unshakable remains. Take this message not as a political statement, but as a prophetic announcement of heaven's imminent action. The Almighty has shown me this removal, not so we would fear, but so we would prepare. Prepare our hearts, our homes, our communities for both the disruption and the awakening that follows. The hour is later than most realize. The foundations are already trembling. The removal is coming. But beyond that removal lies the possibility of genuine renewal, not just of our nation, but of our connection to eternal purposes. This is the hope that sustains me even as I deliver this sobering message. This is the promise that awaits those with ears to hear what the Spirit is saying in this critical hour.